All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we have sports updates. Got to get to a lot of sports updates, couple of LPDS universe updates, and an idea I have that I want to discuss with all you and the Jabroni Junction to get your take on. See how it goes. All that plus a cage fact coming up right now. All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. Show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything. We have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Despite sports, I had a pretty productive week. Busy, but productive, and that's what I like to see. It's always going to be busy in the trenches. You're always digging. But we're making forward progress, so things are, I'm okay with the busy. What I'm not okay with is the sports stuff. I'll get into that in a second. Hopefully the internet doesn't cut out mid-recording. And we get a good clean video feed, no freezing. I didn't really do anything to try to remedy the problem besides adjust the connections to ensure that it was not those, that wasn't the culprit. But I'll get into the rest during the junction because I have some ideas on maybe how to fix it. I don't know, but it's all tied into the junction topic. But we'll get into that then. So I have to say something very quickly, and I don't want this to sound. This is for the ladies out there. I guess maybe it's more of a question for the ladies out there. So I don't know if the Swifties are have tuned in. I'll give a brief Swiftie album update in a sec here, but this is a question for the ladies. Whoever's listening in, all two of you. On dating apps. Okay, let's talk apps for a second. Let's talk outdoor cat stuff. Online dating. Do you put stuff in your profile that you think men share as a commonality, a common interest, common hobby? Or do you simply just put stuff that you're into and maybe you find a guy who's also into it or at least interested in learning about? The reason I asked that question, and I don't want to make any assumptions, that's why I'm posing it as a question, but zero guys. I will go as far as to say zero guys, zero straight men in the online dating world. Zero. Know about or care about anything related to horoscopes, astrological signs, star reading, Mercury retrogrades, anything like that. I will go as far as to say zero straight men on the dating apps know and or care about any of that stuff. Not to say that they don't have a problem with you being into it, but we don't know anything about it. We don't care much at all, if anything, about it. Now, the reason I say that is because I've noticed an uptick in this sort of stuff being mentioned in profiles on the apps. I might have discussed this in the past as a thing that people have done. The trend is coming back, it seems, if we're doing pattern recognition here. And I don't have a problem with it. If you want to be into that, cool, that's fine. I don't like I said, I don't know nothing about it. I don't care about it. I'm fine if you're in. We all have our hobbies and interests and things we like that nobody else likes or not a lot of other people are into. Fine by me. No judgment there. The recommendation I have for the gals out there putting this stuff in their profile, put it in your profile in a way that communicates that you understand that us stupid, ape-like, single straight men have no idea what you're talking about. So I asked the question before, and now I'm sort of posing a tip, a little, tricks of the trade for the gals out there on the dating apps. Just know we are in that regard, in that specific realm, because I don't want to say all men are stupid about everything. Some men are stupid about everything for sure. But in this specific world, astrological world, horoscopes, all that stuff, you could go ahead and assume we're 100% stupid and ignorant on all of it. Because I've been seeing stuff out there that says, I'm a Sagittarius. Enough said. And that's their entire bio on their app, their dating app profile. That does absolutely nothing to describe who you are. It does one thing. It lets me know or lets us know that you're into that stuff. That's it. It does nothing else. We don't know what that means. I don't know what a Sagittarius is. I don't even know what month time frame that falls under on the calendar of astrology and horoscopes. No friggin' clue. And I know it's not your responsibility to cater your profile to fellas. I got that. I am just simply serving this up as a recommendation and as, a little tip for you guys, a little inside baseball to let you know that when you put stuff like that, bang, right over our heads. No idea what you're talking about. And again, no judgment, but if that's all you have in your profile, that in pictures, unless you're Marissa Tomei, that's not enough for me to want to engage or swipe or anything like that. I in particular, I'm speaking for myself now, I want to learn more about you a little bit to see if we have enough commonalities to, at the very least, enjoy a first date. That's my sort of objective. If I see a couple of things that I think are funny or insightful or interesting about you or the things you like, then I know at the very least if we match and we have a conversation and we get to a first date, I know at the very least whether we like each other or not, the first date's going to be good. We're going to have an enjoyable time. We might not have a connection. That's okay. This is how the world works. We can't connect. Our puzzle pieces don't fit with other people's puzzle pieces all the time. But at the very least, I know we'll have a nice conversation, maybe share a drink or a meal or a walk or a coffee or what have you. And it won't be a disaster for either of us. We could go our separate ways for good, and that's fine too. But that's what I look for, a little bit of extra. So when I only see that, it's over my head. And I'm admitting that it's not you, it's a me thing, and it's a guy thing. Okay? Because the guys on dating apps that know about horoscopes and astrological signs and when Mercury's in retrograde and when the moon's upside down, those guys are not looking for women on dating apps. You're never going to see those guys in your feed. They are looking for another type of companion, if you will. So, little inside baseball. If you like if you're into the astrology and the horoscope stuff and reading birth charts and what have you, just know that we are completely ignorant and dumb to it. So if you want to put it in there, that's fine. Either put a little explanation in it or just talk more about yourself as well, something else that you're into to get a better picture of who you are. Because if you just say, like, I'm a Libra moon, falling on deaf ears. The only thing I know about horoscopes is that I am a Libra. Because somebody told me October is Libra. And I'm not even 100% sure on that because years ago, somebody told me that they adjusted the charts and I could be a Cancer. Don't know what that means either, but I could be either one, depending on whose chart you're talking about. That's where it ends for me and for most guys. So if you notice that guys are not resonating with that, and you match with somebody, and you realize they're a Taurus, and Tauruses don't blend well with Sagittariuses, and you don't know why a Taurus would match with you as Sagittarius. That's why. Because we don't have any idea what the fuck that is. Okay? We are stupid in that world. And we are not looking at that and be like, oh, she's a Libra sun rising and a, whatever. I better not match with this. This is not going to align with my Uranus retrograde, so I better back off. We have no idea. I just made that shit up. It could mean something. I hope it doesn't because I don't want to get people angry. But I don't know what the fuck that is. Nobody knows what the hell that means. We're not looking at that when we're doing swipes. So I'm asking you for everybody's sake, for your sake, so you can find a right guy. That's the tip for you. That's the little piece of intel, the little inside baseball for you, so you know why a Libra is matching with a Mercury. I don't even know if that's a damn horoscope, a damn birth thing. Where we match because we're stupid. So if our charts, if our constellations don't align, I don't know. I'm sorry, it was an accident. I apologize. Or if you want to if you want to filter that out, add a little bit more of an explanation into what that means for you. Dumb it down for the stupid guys. You don't have to. I'm not sitting here telling women what to do and mansplaining shit for you. I'm trying to get you let you in behind the curtain a little bit of what goes on inside the brains of us fellas. The fellas should be mad at me for giving away our secrets that we're stupid. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. We don't get it. It's over our heads. And maybe that's the point. Maybe you're doing that on purpose. Oh, if he doesn't know what that means, he's not for me. That's fine too. But I promise you, the guys that know about that, the single guys that know about that stuff and would be able to pick up on, I'm a Sagittarius, enough said, they ain't looking for gals on the dating apps. Okay? You may never cross paths with them unless you go to a pride parade, which is also fine too. I hear they're fun. For adults only, though. Moving on. Ladies, if you're still listening to this and you're a Swiftie, I have been burning through the latest album a few times to get my wits about me, understand the lyrics a little better. I've been getting the TikToks sent to me to explain lyrics and show references of music videos and stuff, and I am starting to like the album more and more. I still don't know if it's I can still definitively say it's not the number one Taylor Swift album for me just yet. I see a lot of people saying it is. I think there's still a little recency bias in there, but I also understand that the diehard Swifties have definitely listened to the album hundreds of more times than I have in the past couple weeks. So if they say it's their favorite, then it's probably their favorite because they've done the work. They've put in they logged the hours listening and looking at the lyrical references and the Easter eggs and all that stuff. So I'll believe them. I think there's still people that do have the recency bias, and that's what I'm trying to prevent from myself. But I'm still going through it. I'll put the album on repeat. I'll put the songs on repeat to really try to understand references, lyrics, messages, storylines, the lore, what have and I'm getting there. I never disliked the album. I liked it from the first time I listened to it. I still think I like Reputation a little bit more, but I do like the connections between the two and the evolutions between the two. I'm not going to get into what I mean by that because I don't have enough intel to describe, all the ins and outs of that relationship. Just what I've been getting on the TikToks and what have you. But this is not a Swiftie episode either. I'm just providing a little update because I told everybody I would. That's all I got to say about that. I want to get to the good news of sports to get my spirits high because we are going to bring them down very quickly after that. And I need them as high as possible because I don't want to go off the deep end here. But the New York Football Giants, as crazy as it sounds, beat the Philadelphia Eagles this past week. It was Thursday Night Football, so I don't know when you're listening to this. It's October 9th or whatever Thursday night in October 2025 was. Beat the Eagles for the first time in, I think, 4 years. 4 or 5 years. I think they said eight straight appearances where the Eagles beat the Giants and they finally won. So it's been since the second year maybe of Daniel Jones, something like that. That's crazy. That's how bad the Giants have been. Because the Eagles have fluctuated. They've consistently gotten better over the last couple of years, but holy crap, have the Giants been historically bad over the last decade plus. But they pulled out a victory, and it was a sound victory. So they have 2 wins now. 2 wins against top programs. The Chargers were undefeated at the time. And the Eagles were 4-1, I believe. Now, I thought for sure the Eagles were going to absolutely demolish them. Saquon always has a day against the Giants, obviously. And the Eagles were coming off a crushing defeat, an upset against the Denver Broncos. Broncos came back, scored like 17 unanswered points, and beat them. So I thought it was going to be over. And I think all the experts and analysts and jabronis out there also felt the same way. But not Action Jackson Dart and that Tasmanian devil Cam Scattaboo. They had other plans. And what was very funny about this, during the game, Jackson Dart got a pretty hard hit, and they had to pull him to the sideline to get him the concussion assessment, the concussion protocol, whatever they call it. So during that time, Russell Wilson had to go in and play a few snaps. His first throw was an absolute dud right in the dirt, 10 yards short of the intended receiver. If it was a grenade, it wouldn't even have gotten shrapnel on the receiver. That's how bad it was of a throw. And as soon as he threw that, Brian Daboll runs over to the tent and starts reaming out the doctor and is like, get him out here right now, or else we're going to lose this momentum and it's going to be all over for us. And I just thought that was funny. He came back out and he played the rest of the game and he got touchdowns and Cam Scatterbo got touchdowns and they won the game and it was great. And Dayball is about, I don't know, this close, if you're looking at YouTube land, this close to open mouth kissing Action Jackson right there on the field. He's in love with them. The way he looks at this kid when he's coming off the field into the sideline, it's like he's looking at his soulmate. It's almost inappropriate. But he loves Action Jackson. And the Giants had the past 2 weeks have been great. I hope they continue to ride this momentum. They continue to improve. Their O-line still needs to get better. Jackson had to do a lot of running. They also have no receivers still. Everybody's hurt. Their number 1 and 2 receivers are still hurt. Malik Neighbors out for the season. I think he tore his ACL, so he's done. So they still got work to do, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. If they lost that game, but they played that's still that same caliber and the Eagles were just better, that's fine. Like that's a tough, it hurts to lose, but it still would have been a good game. They performed, they did a pretty good job. Still got to minimize some errors and penalties and what have yous, but they're getting there. They're getting there. There's some hope still. I have to very quickly. This goes out to a ride or die member of the LPDS universe, Nicky Excuse. Not to be confused with Nicky Sticks. This is Nicky Excuse. He is a fan of the program. He also actually started out as a fan of Nicky Sticks at JR and hopped over here, which was appreciated. And now he's a ride or die for sure. He had a bad night Thursday. He's a Philly guy. He doesn't live in Philly now. He lives in Pennsylvania, but he's a Philly guy, Philly scumbag, just how I like it. And he had a bad night. The Philadelphia Phillies blew the NLDS, National League Division Series, against the Dodgers and a walk-off error. The Dodgers, won in extra innings. Heartbreaking. Now, I don't like the Phillies, but I hate them a lot less than I hate the Dodgers. So I was not happy about that because I don't like the Dodgers. I don't want them in there. I don't like that loser Kike Hernandez. Stupid. I don't like any of them. I don't like that fraud Shohei Ohtani. He's good. I'll give him that. He's a top tier player, but he's a gambler and a liar and a real estate fraud. And he's getting protected by Rob Manfred, and I hate them all. So I was not happy about that either. Not nearly as sad and heartbroken as the Excuse was, because right after that happened, he has to flip the channel and watch Jalen Hurts and the Eagles get absolutely bent over a barrel by the Giants, the team who hasn't beat them in 5 years. The last time the Giants beat the Eagles, Cam Scatterbo was in high school. Action Jackson Dart was in high school. Too busy with puberty and chasing skirts and not even caring about college or football or anything like that. That was the last time. So, Excuse, I feel for you. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. It's tough. But if you think we haven't been there before, being a Giants fan, think again. Think again. Now, to leave that on an even more positive note for everybody around, I got to give him props. I got to give the Excuse props. This is a little, LPDS, fan praising section of the program. He has continued his fitness, health and wellness, weight loss journey for a long time now. And he's down below. Damn, I wish I kept the text. Down below, let me see if I can find this text. 190, below 200, something like that. And it's a milestone for him. It's an incredible feat because he told me he was ballooned up for a while, and he finally was able to actually become consistent in his focus on diet and exercise. And let's see if I got it up in here. I don't know if he put it in here, if he put it on Instagrams, but no, I don't think. No, I haven't. I don't have it on the hotline number. It must have been on Instagram. So sorry, I didn't get a chance to pull it up. But he's down at an all-time low for him weight-wise, and he said he's feeling great. He's exercising every day. He walked 4 miles recently, on a daily basis, getting his steps in. So shout out to him for that. Despite the absolute destruction of Philly sports last week, he stayed strong. He's following the big three. He's doing it right. So congrats on that. Keep up the good work. Shout out to you. Shout out to anybody else who I don't know is also going through these improvements and these journeys. We're here for you. Keep going. Stay consistent a little bit each and every day. Stay strong. Love that stuff. I love that shit. That's all I got to say about that. I'm going to keep this very brief because what I'd like to do is get the creature on so we can do a season recap, a Yankee season recap, and a discussion on what we think needs to be done to the franchise to get them to be an actual World Series contender. An actual one. Not one what the analysts say, not one what the anal geeks say analytics-wise, an actual World Series contender. I'd like to have that discussion with him, a consummate professional and expert. So I'm going to keep this very short and sweet. The Yankees stink. Unfortunately, we always knew that the whole season. Unfortunately, we've been saying it since last offseason. Unfortunately, everything that we were worried about happening throughout the season and the things we were worried that the front office and the coaching staff were going to say to gaslight us all came true. Unfortunately, the Yankees are still a glorified home run derby squad that does not do anything to build up or prepare their team for actual playoff baseball. Last year, they got lucky in the fact that they didn't have to play an actual really good team until the World Series. Who'd they play? The Royals stunk comparatively. The Guardians, the Indians, whatever you want to call them, they had a world-class bullpen, and that's it. One or two scrappy hitters, and that's basically it for them last year. And then the Dodgers, who, by the way, if you don't remember, called out the Yankees to the public ahead of time and said, hey, all we have to do is put the ball in play, and the Yankees will lose it for themselves. We don't have to worry about it, and that's exactly what they did. This year, they ran into a good team in the ALDS right after the wild card and got absolutely stomped, curb stomped bent over, pants down, blasted in the backside by the Toronto Blue Jays. It was so bad, people thought that the Blue Jays were cheating. That's how much they were beating up on the Yankees. And the Yanks had one decent glimmer of offensive hope a little bit after the second game, so a hope and a half. A little bit after the second game when the Blue Jays, I almost cost them the series in my opinion. I guess they were that confident in their abilities that they didn't have to worry about it. But when their coach took out their starting pitcher, Savage or whatever his name was, after he's throwing a no-hitter through 5 and had like 15 strikeouts, he pulled him. And I thought then and there, I was like, oh, this is where the Yankees have a chance because that guy made an absolute blunder. They could have shut the door, had an easy 2-0 lead going into the Bronx. They ended up getting that lead anyway because they were so far ahead that even when the Yankees scored like 7 runs in the game, they still couldn't catch up. That's how bad the Yankees were. And then they snuck by with a win in Game 3 after going down 6-1. Judge had to come in with some heroics. And then, of course, the Yankee fans and the analysts got ahead of their skis and started basically preparing for the ticker tape parade because Judge hit 1 home run and they didn't lose a game by double digits for a change. So now the Yankees are World Series champs again. And then an offensive poopy in Game 4. Cam Schlittler came in and dominated. He gave up some runs. 2 runs, I think. 1-2 runs. Otherwise dominated and had no run support. And then when they took him out and put Devin Williams in, and that was it. The floodgates open. Yanks lost 5-2. They were losing 5-1, 6-1 or whatever, and they scored 1 run in the 9th. That was it. And my one question, I'll talk about the rest with the creature hopefully soon. But the one question I have for Aaron Boone and the anal geeks out there, the stats nerds, Devin Williams has an entire season's worth of analytics to show you that he is not the guy in any inning, any point of the game to put in there when the game is on the line. Okay, when the pressure is on. I don't know why that's not a stat that you guys pay attention to. But just like Clay Holmes of last year, if there is a pressure situation and the game is on the line, these guys blow it. Yet Aaron Boone and the geeks over there punching their calculators didn't seem to check that analytic point. They were looking at the innings. Oh, it's 7th inning, so he could go in and he's fine. This is, it's this inning, it's this, but the pressure's on. It's a playoff game, the pressure's on. You have all this knowledge and information and tape to show you what Devin Williams does when the pressure is on. Yet you put him out there anyway. And sure as shit, he gave up hits and runs when the Yankees needed a stop. They should have kept Schlittler in. But that's what they do. Analytics to the end. And it was just an embarrassment. They didn't make a lot. They didn't make as many embarrassing physical mistakes as they did against the Dodgers in the World Series. But they made plenty of mental errors, lack of adjustments, lack of fundamentals, poor coaching decisions, just pussy baseball when the games were on the line, not adjusting at the play, just all around a circus act and tough to watch. And it made me realize that the series against the Red Sox, the Yankees weren't good in that series because they won. They weren't a competitive team. The Red Sox were just not good. They had Crochet. Is it Garrett Crochet? He's a lights-out pitcher. He's a lights-out pitcher. Everything else about the Red Sox, stats-wise, analytics-wise, doesn't compare. They were not that good of a team, clearly, if they could not beat the Yankees. Because the Yankees were not a good team. They were a home run derby, Monstar squad. And if that's what they care about, fine. Go be part of Nick Swisher's Home Run Derby X League, where they have a home run derby every quarter, 3 or 4 a year, whatever he does out there. Go field the Yankees and go be the home run derby champions. Because when shit hits the fan and it's playoff time, what does every team do? What does every team do that actually wins the World Series? Go look it back. All the teams that have won the World Series, what do? They all revert back to playing actual baseball. They're bunting. They're doing hit and runs. They're stealing bases. They're adjusting to 2-strike counts. They're choking up. They're shortening their swings and going the other way. They're being more selective. They're making pitchers work. It's gamesmanship. They're hustling. They know what to do with the ball when the ball comes to them. They're playing base. They all revert back to baseball, and and that's the thing. Billy Beane said it. Even in that stupid movie that wasn't even remotely realistic. The sabermetrics, the analytics shit could statistically get you to the playoffs. After that, you have to play baseball. You have to be postured to play baseball to win. And the Yankees just forgot about that little fine print there. And I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to. But I have no problem saying that they stunk. And they were disappointing. And I wish I was wrong. I hate the fact that we were right the whole time on this one. I hate that. I wanted them to win. I want championships. That's all I got to say about that before I lose my shit even more. With that, let's get into the good stuff. Finally, let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by the all-new peppermint pinstripe straws at Yankee Stadium. After another embarrassing playoff showing, the Yankees front office has finally taken all your feedback and made real strides towards improvement and giving the fans what they want next season by introducing all new edible peppermint straws that you can use with any beverage. So whether it's a $9 water or a fresh $12 Coke Classic or a $16 Coors Latte, suck in that liquid through a refreshing peppermint pinstripe straw that you can lick and eat while you watch Aaron Boone keep Anthony Volpe in the game after 2 hours and 4 Ks, but pull Max Fried in the 5th inning of a perfect game because his pitch count is 94. So to get your $6 Yankee-exclusive peppermint pinstripe straw today, visit www.yankeeslose.com to reserve your $680 bleacher ticket so you could go buy your straw. And if you use the promo code, it's right in front of us. You'll get 29% off your first straw. Does anybody remember when we talked about this right before the season started, when the Yankees introduced the tiramisu helmet, and all the fatso, ginzo, Italian Yankee fans are going nuts online and taking pictures of it at the stadium and spending $40 on a tiny little tiramisu helmet. And that was their claim to fame. That was the big thing they did for the fans. That's how we're giving back to the fans. We're giving you tiramisu. We're quadruple charging you for it. But you're so stupid you're going to get it anyway. Does anybody remember that? Are we starting to wake up now, Yankee fans? Are we starting to wake up to the gaslighting and the malarkey going on with Cashman in the front office? Stop falling for the bullshit. The team stunk. They were good at hitting home runs. Sure. They have one generational player, Aaron Judge. Max Fried did great. That's it. Everybody else was at best average. I can't even include Stanton in there because he only played 12 games this season. Because he had double broken elbows or whatever he had. Double tennis elbow. That only robots get. Only lab creations get. Stop falling for the shit. Okay? Get rid of Cashman. Get him out of there. He stinks. He always stunk. Anyway, the Cage fact. This one is a little angering to me because it is teetering on the edge of being a Brian Cashman gaslighting situation here. A recent interview with Jerry Bruckheimer, the movie guy, TV and movie guy, came out and he stated that they are even closer to getting ready to do National Treasure 3. And he teased it out there and he hinted that it is being written for Cage. He's got to be Ben Gates. So that's technically the update. They are still moving forward. They're getting closer, and it apparently, according to Jerry Bruckheimer, the guy behind it all, it's a very real thing that's going to be happening soon. My issue and my question is, what the hell is taking so long? Why do you have to keep coming out to give the same update? Oh, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Do you have any specific information? How close? Closer. Closer than before. What's taking so long? The last time something like this took this long that everybody knew about beforehand was James Cameron's Blue movie. What the hell was that called? Not Aquarius. You know, Avatar. Bragged about it. It took me 10 years to get the technology to be able to put it all together. And what happened with that? Now, financially speaking, one of the most successful movies ever created, box office numbers-wise. I don't understand how that could be because the storyline stunk. It was Fern Gully and it was Dances with Wolves combined to be, computer CGI, human on alien sex stuff. That's all it was. 10 years. The big reveal, and the movie was doo-doo. And it came out at a time where I couldn't even appreciate the technology used for the CGI. I didn't even know enough about it. Most people didn't either. Now, maybe that's the point of National Treasure 3. Maybe that's the point of what Bruckheimer is doing here, is he knows that, like, even if we put out a stinker, this buildup we're gonna be raking in. That's, the Disney's secret weapon is they don't care if it's good anymore as long as it brings in money. Maybe that's the ploy. I hope that's not the case. But what the hell is taking so long? There's gonna come a time where it's too long. You're out of your window. Cage is too old to do anything active and acrobatic and physical in the movies. He's not going to want to do it anymore. Everybody's going to be out, and you're going to be done. It's going to be closed. The window's going to be closed. So what the hell is taking so long? It's a Disney movie. It's a damn Disney movie. Figure out what's on page 47 of the President's Secret Book. Create an adventure. Nic Cage wins. He kisses some hot girl. He tricks some old government fuck. Riley Poole sits and cries in the corner, jerking his gherkin because he's always playing second fiddle to Nic Cage, but he still goes home with millions and success and riches. That's it. It's pretty simple. Make the damn movie already. We're getting closer, though. We're getting closer. So thanks for the update, Jerry. Anyway, that's the Cage fact. Moving over to the Junction, we'll spin the logo up. I had a conversation with the creature a week ago. We actually went out, had a nice meal at Portillo's for my birthday. It was very nice that the creature wanted to hang out with me on my birthday, and we went out to dinner, and we had Portillo's. I've talked about this before, but if you don't know, Portillo's is the hot dog place in Chicago. Chicago dogs. They have Italian beef sandwiches. They have Italian sausage sandwiches there, and they started putting them up around the Houston area. Not as good, but it does the trick, believe me. So we went there for dinner, and I brought this idea up with him, and it's something that I would want to do with the creature, but I'm certainly not going to pressure him if he doesn't want to do something like this with me, the content that I'm looking to do. But anyway, I brought up this idea with him, and then I watched the John Candy documentary recently. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. And I think maybe I've talked about this with Styx on an episode years ago, but I love John Candy. We love John Candy. He's one of those guys that he's up there with, the Indiana Joneses, Stallone and Rocky. Nic Cage is above everybody else, but those like impact actors in our lives, in our childhoods. Just on the comedy side. I haven't talked about it as much, so it doesn't seem that way. But I watched this, and basically the entire documentary, without giving out too many spoilers, was how grand this guy was. It was basically just saying, hey, the feeling you get about John Candy, the whole world did. And it went into all these details and stories about his life and acting and fatherhood and parenthood. And I highly recommend it. If you like John Candy even a little bit, as Gus Polinski from Home Alone, Kenosha Kickers, Harry Crumb, go watch the documentary. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. Just tremendous. And the big thing I got from it was his positive impact he had through the big screen, and how he took that and it spilled over behind the curtain too. Like he amplified his personality and his character and all his goodness in the movies and his roles, the TV stuff he did, the stage theater stuff he did. And then when he was the big, huge star, he still was that guy. There was he would be flying commercial and showing up at the airports like a regular guy. He'd show up to the city, New York City, looking like a tourist, camera on around his chest, around his neck, talking to people, hanging out in bars and restaurants when fans would show up, like staying for hours at a time at places to sign autographs and stuff. He was that guy. His positive impact was not just the act that you saw in his movies. And it really inspired me. First, it made me sad because he died too young. Spoiler alert, he died. But it really inspired me to try to figure out ways to what's the word I'm thinking of? Expand my sphere of impact. I don't want to say sphere of influence because I'm not trying to influence people into doing things. That sounds a little too dastardly for me. I'm not really a dastardly guy unless we're at war and then all bets are off. But so the idea I had with the creature was it's more in the sports world, but I thought maybe it'd be a good avenue to put out more content and add value and impact. There are people out there that do live streams of sporting events on TV, games on TV. They'll go on YouTube Live, they'll go on Twitch, and most of them are filming themselves watching a game, whether it's in their man cave or in their bedrooms, whatever. A bunch of people just watching the game, and then you just see their reaction. They can't show the game on the stream because of copyright infringement and all that stuff. But the goal, the idea is you have the game on your TV and then on your computer next to you, or if you have another TV that you can pop it open, you're watching the stream of this guy or gal's reactions. Most of it is just reaction. They're sitting there, they're kind of dicking around on their phone, they're kind of talking to the people on the chat live, but then they're just watching the game, and then you just see their emotions come out during these games. I was thinking of doing something that some people are already doing, but just in my own way, is streaming maybe one Yankee game a week next season. Or maybe I could do it with the Giants too. I don't know. And putting it on like a YouTube Live, and I'm watching the game, but I'm doing like a Libretti style broadcast of the game, plus my reactions as a fan, plus during downtime between pitches, commercial breaks, I can talk about stuff like what I would do in this situation or what I've done in the past in this situation and how it played out or whatever. Share stories of my time playing sports, give insight, hit people up, talk to people on the chat, answer questions on the chat during that downtime. But the whole premise of it is as a fan. Like I'll talk about, here's the pitch from Max Fried, but the reactions are as a fan and not somebody tied to the team that can't talk bad about the team or give their general fan reaction when the team stinks. And I'm trying. It's an idea I had. I saw some people do it for other teams around the country, and it seems like another cool way for me to connect something I enjoy to other people in the world, other people around me. You guys here in the LPDS universe, I know a bunch of you like sports. Some of you don't, so this wouldn't be so much for you. I know a bunch of you like leadership, so the Libretti Leadership Lab is a good avenue for you that I can connect with you continue to connect with you in a different way. And it also gives you a more of a glimpse of the things that I enjoy or I'm passionate about or whatever. So I thought this would be another avenue to do that. And this is not one of those things where it's like I think the be all end all of sports knowledge or baseball knowledge or anything. I want to come at it as a fan who knows only as much as I know. And by doing that, I likely would improve my knowledge because I'd be paying more attention, obviously, and learning about, who the Yankees got in their farm system, what the injury reports are, the trade rumors, things like that as I go along. But it's very much I'm a fan. I'm going to be entertaining, but you're also going to know how ignorant I am too and how stupid and silly we can be and entertaining. I'm not going to pretend to be this expert. And that's another thing I've noticed people that do these streams also. They are stat guys. They are back office, experts, if you will, on the ins and outs, just like a broadcaster does. But that's not necessarily me. I would like to have Creature, to come on and do more of that because he has more of that knowledge and expertise, and he can add that in there and also correct me on the spot. That's one thing that I hate about when I'm bitching and ranting on the LPDS here is that I would love to have a guy like the Wet Cat or the Creature as a co-host. So when we talk about this shit, they can either amplify if they agree, or they can shoot me down and be like, this is why you're wrong and stupid. I like that stuff. So maybe this is an avenue to do that. I know the Creature has his own life and he has his own other career and he's got his own things to juggle through. And I don't want to put any pressure for him to even remotely feel obligated to do anything like this. I'm just thinking out loud now, and I'm thinking this would be fun for me to do. But even more fun if I had one of the brothers there to do it with. For we'll pick a game of the week. It's like the Thursday night game. We're going to be on stream, a YouTube live. Maybe we'll put it on Twitch too. I don't know. And see how it goes. Again, you can get a little bit more insight onto what is going through my crazy brain during baseball games. And also actually what happens as well. This is why I thought maybe I'll do it with the Giants too, because I'll be getting calls and texts from the home front screaming and hollering, and I think that's funny. I wish I had a camera. I always said I wish I had a camera guy on me because then I can actually capture those moments of when Crazy Carol's calling in and fire everybody. They all stink. Fire the coach, fire the player, this and that. And it's 2 minutes into the first quarter of a Giants game. I would like to capture that. If it's live, it's easier. Because sometimes you never know when it's going to happen. So I can just have the cameras already on. And I don't need a cameraman to do that. And that's kind of what I was alluding to in the beginning of this episode when I was talking about how to fix the video and stuff. I would get, this is, give me another excuse to get a better webcam. So for that is specifically better for podcasting and streaming live. And then I'll have my phone on me. And I'll also have my computer available. And you'll see me reacting, or me and a guest if anyone else is there. I can't put the game on the TV or on the stream itself, but we can follow along together. You can watch it on your own and then pop me up on your computer. And I can see the chat on my computer. I can be texting people who are texting me back on the phone, getting calls from the family, yelling and screaming about the Yankees stinking it up. And I don't know. I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on this. Just because I like to share my ideas with you and get your feedback. Because, again, I want to continue finding ways to expand my impact, whether it's through humor or entertainment or leadership value, that side of the house, or Nic Cage facts or whatever. And I'm going to be more heads deep into this idea, or just the notion of coming up with other ideas, because that John Candy stupid documentary just really hit home for me for some reason. It really, it really made me think, like, I'm meant to be out there more. Not because I think that you need to have me in your life more, but I just feel like I can provide some real value in multiple different ways, and I'm not leveraging that ability as much as I should be. Sitting at home watching documentaries when I could be out there making somebody laugh, or enjoying a sports debate, or helping people out become better leaders in their lives, or learning from other people and meeting new people, and expanding my knowledge and education and horizons and what have you. Because I'm out there more. Now I'm interacting with more people who are coming into my world, and everybody learns, grows, and improves and wins. So let me, if you have any thoughts on that, specific idea with the live streams, or maybe I do a live stream on the leadership side on the day-to-day, a trench stream once a week, the Friday trench stream or something like that, Tuesday in the trenches with Spearhead Leadership, and you're going to see what I do during that day. The shit, the boring stuff, but throughout the time I'll be conversing. Now it's different. It's during the week, during the day, and not a lot of people are available for that. I don't know, but just something to get more out there, because I enjoy the idea, and I enjoy the reality of today's world, that there is no barrier to entry to put content out there. I don't have to go try to be a radio disc jockey. I don't have to audition for a TV show or a movie or a sports broadcasting position or anything like that. If I have a message, if I want to make people laugh, if I want to do anything, I'm right here. I got a phone I can record on. We have internet platforms to put it out on, and then let the world decide how much more they want to see of me. And I know there's going to be some haters. There's always haters out there. They're going to look at what I'm currently doing with the LPDS and Libretti Leadership Lab and Spearhead as it is right now, and it's in its infancies, and seeing, like, you get 15 views an episode. Nobody wants to see you. Nobody wants more of you out there on their screens. And that's not going to stop me, because this stuff is fun for me. I like putting myself out there and having a good time with it, whether it's a leadership video, stirring the pot, a cringy dating reel on Instagram, a silly thing that I put out that I think is fun and cool to make. Anything. I enjoy doing that stuff and putting it out there. And if I get 15 views, I get 15 views. Here's how I see it. Okay? It's all relative to me. Because I know 15 views on YouTube sounds like nothing when people are getting hundreds of thousands and millions of views on stuff on a regular basis. That's awesome for them. That's great. I get 15, 20 views on a video. To me, that's me standing in a room of 20 human beings locked in on whatever it is I'm doing or saying. And that means something to me. Those 20 people mean something to me. So I come out here and I give it my 100% effort every time, because you take the time to watch these videos and be in there with me virtually. I'm gonna do my best to give it my all for you all the time, because I appreciate that, and I want more people involved in that. I want to be able to, like I said, grow the impact, grow the universe, grow a community filled with people that are not mired in the negativity and bullshit of the world, that care about their health and wellness for themselves and for the important people around them, that show gratitude in life. That's a community I want to be a part of, and I want to build it and grow it and increase the number of people who are living that big three life. And if I could do it through another content avenue with some sort of a stream like that, a live situation, cool. So I want to get your take on it. Let me know. Hotline 202-670-1114. Been a quiet hotline for a while now. So let me know what you think about that. You can shoot me a text. If you do shoot me a text or a DM, please let me know ahead of time if I'm okay to discuss your comments and feedback, or if you wish to remain anonymous, where I will still discuss your feedback, but I will not attach your likeness to it. Because I want to keep talking about this and flushing it out and come up with something fun and good. So let me know. 202-670-1114 in the hotline. And let's see how we can grow the LPDS. And if you all like the idea, do I put it through the LPDS YouTube page? Do I create yet another profile on something? Like, I have so many content social media profiles, it's exhausting. So we got to figure that out too. We'll get there, but let me know what you think. Help me grow the universe, this universe, because you guys are great, and I want more of that. I want more of the greatness. And that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, kind of already talked about it, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, and being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around their land, to all those around you and throughout the land. That's what I usually say, right? I don't know. Number one, exercise every day. Do something each and every day to improve your physical, mental, or emotional health and wellness. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. Get out of the negativity. Remove yourself from the negative. Don't engage in the negative. Don't respond to it. Don't initiate it. Get out of it. So you can focus on more positive, productive stuff, and you're minimizing the negativity and shit going on in the world. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you can do this by thinking about one thing in your life that's good and what your life would be like without that good thing. And that'll immediately put you in the state of gratitude. And you do these three things a little bit each and every day, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And I promise you, you string along 6 months of this, a year, 3 years, 5 years, however long. I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being. Be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget, like and subscribe, comment, tell your friends and enemies, put your notifications on, hit the hotline 202-670-1114. Give me your thoughts on this idea. If you're missing the Libretti Leadership Lab, stay tuned. I have scheduled interviews on the books. I have recordings I need to convert over to episodes to put out there for everybody. I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes work for the Libretti Leadership Lab. The in front of the camera stuff is coming though. The posting and all that good stuff, it'll be there. Don't worry about it. We're not done with that. But in the meantime, call the hotline 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.